In regards to the one Airbnb I went to where there was uh, a there was a gentleman that uh, it's not this story here. I'm just bringing up these other horror stories, these other Airbnb horror stories. There was a gentleman that had exposed me to some things and stuff. And once you're exposed to these certain things, you hear these horror stories that happen at these certain places, like Airbnb or whatever. And it doesn't happen at every single one because I've had some great times in Airbnb, some serious great times. But I did have the like a one or two ones. It was actually about two that where I had a horror story. And once you're exposed, I guess I don't know how to search it up, but once you're exposed to these certain things, it's kind of like jail. Once you're exposed to these super criminal aspects of life, especially if you dealt with the horror story that I dealt with, where I was staying at two, like they call them hit houses. Actually, it was three, maybe three or four. I've stayed in over time, but two Airbnb specifics. And then I've done some other ones that were on like classifieds or whatever that ended up to be those two. They call them red rooms or whatever. And yeah, they're fairly real or whatever. And I think everybody's in a red room or whatever. Like it's hard to explain or whatever because everybody dies or whatever. Every single person that's alive dies or whatever. So depending on how famous you are or how much money you have and all that depends on how far you make it in life. So it depends on what you're doing and all that, but like everybody's gonna die at some age or whatever. So like you've seen all different kinds of horror movies or whatever, or even real life horror pictures, and it just happens to every single person, and they just basically wait, and they're just wait. Some people, believe it or not every person, but there is not every person in the world. So you got to be very careful who's contacting you or whatever. But not uh, basically like everybody's gonna die, and there's gonna be that thing about everybody, and you basically want to have to watch out how you're gonna die for as long as you can until you end up dying. So like everybody dies in this game or whatever, which isn't a game. That's why we say there's that saying everybody says like life is not a game. Yes, but some people make it a game, and we end up, you know, we don't live forever, so we have all these like festivals and traditions and stuff that we do year round that you don't really understand when you're a kid, but you start to understand it more when you get older and all that.